Hi.
Welcome everyone. I'm here with David Bloch, the CEO of Sarine. Hi David.
Hi, good to be here.
And thanks for welcoming us. I'm Sonia Esther Sultani, I'm the editor-in-chief of Rappaport. And today we have a very exclusive tour of the Sarine Lab in the Israel Diamond Exchange. It's the first time we're doing this. We really wanted to go to the heart of where things start in terms of traceability. We talk a lot about traceability. Sarine is at the forefront of tracing the diamond from the moment it's rough to the moment it's polished. We'll talk about that with David. But I thought, we can actually have access for the first time to the machines. You're going to tell us all about it and about the journey of the diamond.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's very important to you. You've just launched with your team the Diamond Journey. Here it is. It's a website that's very, very educational, that tells you everything where the diamond is found, the mining, how it impacts on communities and the life of people, and how we also be able to know where the diamond comes, and for customers to be able to know the whole story of that diamond.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so basically traceability, a lot of time is looked at the technical aspect of traceability, but we wanted to add to that the story of the journey of the diamond from the mine as it travels down the pipeline all the way to the consumer. And as we know, there's a very, very interesting story that stands behind that. The NDC is doing a great job today by helping to tell that story as well about the natural diamond. And we want to do our part as well, trying to show the consumer what happens behind the scenes when that diamond travels from the mine all the way down to the consumer. So our website talks a little bit about the mines, where the diamonds come from, how they're created, about the manufacturers, different types of manufacturers and the impact to the communities, impact to the environment, how a lot of the different players along the pipeline look at with a high level importance of their impact to their surroundings. So the Diamond Journey Traceability website is much more of an educational tool that's meant for the retailers and the consumers to help them to educate what happens as before their diamond actually reaches the jewelry piece that they're buying.
Absolutely, and usually on Rappaport Jewelry Pro we talk a lot about jewelry, but I thought that would be very interesting today to actually talk about the diamond and where it comes from, how it's shaped and how it gets into the final piece of jewelry. If you've joined us today, thank you so much, and don't hesitate to ask us questions. David will answer these questions in 20-25 minutes after we've been to the lab. So put the questions, we're keeping track of everything, and we'll ask David to answer them a bit later. But first thing, where does it all start?
So the diamond journey actually starts all the way back at a mine. Actually there's a lot of different aspects beyond just what people may picture as digging a big hole in the ground. And there's a lot of very, very positive impacts that most of the mines today actually have on the surroundings, how they take care of the different communities, how they take care of the environment, how when they are having a negative impact, they make more of a positive impact to the communities and to the surroundings. So in the website, actually, you'll be able to see that we actually tell a lot of the different stories about different mines. We start, of course, telling how the diamond is created, okay? The story of how the diamond starts deep inside the earth, and then how the process is that the diamond comes to the surface. So the story of the creation of the diamond, whether it's coming from alluvial mining, which is basically mining on the surface, whether it's extracting through pit mining, and the different methodologies of diamond mining. We actually provide a lot of different information about the different sources of rough diamonds around the world, the different locations where they come from around the world, in the different countries, and of course how each of the different mines has that positive impact on the environment, whether it's on wildlife in the different areas of the world, whether it's on the communities. I mean, not many people know how significant of an impact diamond have on the Botswana economy and on the Botswana people in terms of education and infrastructure, roads, schools. So diamonds have a very, very powerful positive impact, and we wanted to be able to share that as part of that journey from the mine until it reaches the consumer.
That's a beautiful website. For people, if you don't see it, it's diamond-journey.com. We'll obviously give all the details as well on a follow-up to this live, but I encourage everyone to go there. Even if you think you know the story of diamonds, you'll learn something.
Yeah, I'm sure. So as the diamond actually starts at the mine, it actually continues down the pipeline through the diamond manufacturing. And again, turning that rough diamond into that beautiful polished diamond is actually also a secret that most retailers and most consumers don't know too much about. So what we're trying to do both within the website and in the tour today is to give the behind the scenes of how that process happens. How you take that rough diamond, which probably most people won't even pick up from the ground because it doesn't look very like much, and eventually it's transformed into that beautiful gem that sits in an amazing jewelry piece. So both the website provides a lot of information of that process, how the diamond is manufactured, also the manufacturer's impact on sustainability in today. Many of the factories today have put goals of being carbon neutral, how they contribute to the communities around them, whether it is again in education, health, and otherwise. And again, a lot of the positive impact that is created during the manufacturing process, because a lot of the time people talk about origin. Origin is not only the mine, it's actually that whole story of the diamond as it transforms from at the mine, from the rough until the polished diamond in the jewelry store. So you can see it all on the website, and we'll see a lot of the behind the scenes.
I think it's so powerful because, you know, the new customers, the new consumers, the Gen Zs, the young people, they really want to know the story. They want to know the story, they want to have the traceability back behind, they want to know where does it come from. And I think as a diamond industry, we are in this privileged place where actually we can provide this information.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other industries maybe are a little bit behind, or they're not yet, you know, it's a bit more difficult for them to give the full story and the full background. So.
Yeah. So we're actually already seeing today retailers using the website as a sales tool, their sales associates engaging with the consumer and actually telling the story behind the diamond. So it's not just buying that beautiful diamond, but you're actually buying a lot of that story that comes along with it.
That's great. So we're going to see now how it's all started
Yep.
and how it goes, short of going to the mine.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just stop over here before we actually go inside. And over here at the entrance to our rough and polish lab, we can see how a rough diamond transforms from the rough diamond at the beginning of the pipeline, goes through many different and multiple stages of manufacturing, and eventually turns into that beautiful polished diamond. And as we go into the rough lab at the moment, we'll actually see that in live.
When was this lab opened, David?
We opened up here the polish lab in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
The rough lab has actually been open for a lot longer, from 2001, if I remember correctly. As we continue to more activities, which we'll maybe see at the end of our session, a little about polish grading using AI and technology for grading.
Mm-hmm.
But the rough lab actually started a lot earlier than that, and it's been open since, if I'm not mistaken, 2010.
Fantastic. So if you're joining us, we're going to see something that you don't usually see on Instagram. It's how the rough diamonds are shaped with the team of Sarine. So thank you so much for having us here. Tell us everything.
So actually,
all the secrets.
So actually, Israel is one of the major rough centers in the world for purchasing of rough diamonds. A lot of companies here actually buy rough diamonds from the miners or from the rough sellers or rough producers, and they take those diamonds and now transform them into polished diamonds. One of the most important stages of that process is taking that rough diamond and deciding what to do with it, okay? And this is a lot what we do over here. Our Israeli clients come here, bring their rough diamonds to the lab, and we'll go through the process, which we'll see in a moment, how that rough diamond gets designed or planned, as we call it, into a polished diamond, and is determined what is going to be done with that rough diamond. So one of the first stages, and we'll come over here and see one of the first stages, is taking a rough diamond, and maybe we'll take an example over here. Take, for example, a rough diamond. We can see over here actually a slightly fancy yellow rough diamond that starts the process by measuring that rough diamond. As we can see over here on the screen, we're now starting to create a three-dimensional model of that rough diamond. We can see we're using a laser to map the diamond to get a very high level of accuracy of mapping, so we can have a very, very accurate 3D model of the rough diamond. Once that process is finished, we'll have basically the full mapping or the full exterior of the rough diamond, which we'll be able to see here in a second. And once that process is finished, we will continue it in order to map the internal part of the diamond, the inclusions. So over here we can see we've finished mapping the rough diamond. We can see there's a very, very accurate three-dimensional model of that rough diamond, which we will be using at the next stage in order to plan what to do with it. Come on over here and we can see the next stage of the magic. So over here we have a number of different types of Galaxy machines. Galaxy machines are basically very advanced diamond X-ray machines, or MRIs. Very different technology, of course, than X-ray and MRI, but basically we look inside the diamond and understand what's going on inside, mapping all the different impurities, the inclusions, cracks, bubbles, and different inclusions that determine the clarity of that polished diamond. So the rough diamond will be put inside the machine. It will be automatically scanned, as it's similar to kind of an MRI. And once that diamond is completed, we'll see that we get a set of images. We can see basically the diamond has been scanned. All the black areas are basically impurities. So we can see cracks, we can see bubbles, we can see different mineral impurities inside the rough diamond. And then we take this information and turn it into a three-dimensional model so we can continue the planning process. Come on over and we'll be able to see the planning process. So basically here we have a rough diamond that has already gone through the first two processes, scanning the external part of that rough diamond, and then scanning through the Galaxy technology the internal part, the inclusions. And then basically, once that has been done, we end up with a three-dimensional model of that rough diamond, including all the inclusions. The red that you can see here on the screen are multiple inclusions, some of them deep within inside the diamond, some of them are cracks on the surface, as we can see over here. So we now have a very, very accurate model of the rough diamond, including all its inclusions. Basically, the next stage will be to decide what we want to do with the diamond. And the diamond manufacturer now needs to determine what to plan. This, of course, depends on his market demand, depends on prices, depends on what his manufacturing capabilities. Is he going to manufacture a round diamond or fancy diamond? What kind of cut grade he wants to manufacture accordingly. So there's a lot of different capabilities over here in the software that enables the manufacturer to decide what to plan. So we'll take a simple example and we'll decide that we want to manufacture a pear diamond, for example, over here. So we've chosen a pear diamond that we want to design. And now we're going to plan this diamond with as clean as possible with no inclusions. So the software will then automatically start looking for the optimal plan for such a diamond. So what is the optimal pear-shaped diamond that we can plan out of this rough? And we can see over here that it's planned basically out of this 11-carat rough diamond, a 3.8 polish pear-shaped diamond with a number of different inclusions inside. We can see over here that the red inclusion over here is actually internal inside the diamond. If we want, we can see a simulation of how those inclusions will look on the polished diamond. And basically using the software, we'll be able to decide what is the optimal diamond that we want to plan. Naturally, we can plan multiple diamonds within a certain rough diamond. It's not just one polished diamond will come out of a single rough diamond. There could be 2 or 3 or sometimes even 10 or more polished diamonds that are extracted from a single rough diamond. Just to give you an example of a much more complex solution, we can see over here, we've planned here 3 different diamonds coming out of the same rough diamond, a big cushion, as well as 2 smaller cushions on either side. So we're getting a much better result, utilizing the raw material in a much more optimal way. So this software is actually a very, very advanced type of CAD/CAM software that enables us to take the information about the rough diamond and decide how to plan it. Going back to traceability now. So basically, traceability is enabling tracking the diamond from that rough diamond all the way down to the polish. And the way that Sarine does that is through information, through data. Basically collecting the different data as the diamond is being planned, is being scanned on our different technologies from the rough all the way down to the polish as it's being manufactured, and then using that data to create a verifiable tracking of the rough diamond. Rather than different entities along the pipeline declaring information along the way, we basically take the data that goes up to the cloud and then use that data to track that diamond throughout the diamond pipeline.
Fantastic. And each diamond has a specific reference?
Yes, each diamond is actually unique. Every single rough diamond is actually very unique, both in terms of size, in terms of shape. There are actually no 2 rough diamonds that are the same. Many may look the same or have similar weights, but actually every single rough diamond has a unique signature and is actually very, very unique.
Is there a minimum size for the diamond to have a reference?
So actually, if you would have asked me that question maybe 10 years ago, I would have said yes. Probably in order to use technology, probably the minimum size is probably half a carat rough, which will result in a 20-point polished diamond. But today, 10 years later, I'll tell you that diamonds of 2-3 points rough are being put into technology. That's creating diamonds of less than 1 point polish, that's melee polish, are going through technology today. So as the technology becomes faster, more cost effective, you were able to capture more of the different types and sizes of diamonds going through technology, thereby enabling traceability for smaller and smaller diamonds as we go forward.
That's so important, especially for the big manufacturers who do a lot of melee. And that's a lot of the diamonds actually that go into the jewelry in America, for example, in the bands and everything, for apart from the big stones. So yeah, it's a big one.
Actually, one of the questions I get asked a lot is what about the smaller diamonds? Okay, traceability, we understand how it works, we understand that it's possible for the larger diamonds. What about the small ones? And just like I explained that technology wasn't used for diamond manufacturing 10 years ago for anything lower than a half a carat diamond, the same when you look at traceability, it will start with the bigger diamonds. It has started already. There's a lot of larger size diamonds, a carat plus, that goes through traceability. But already today we have diamonds of 20 points and 10 points polish going through traceability. And I believe that over time, the size of those diamonds are going to go down and get smaller and smaller, enabling basically to include more and more of the goods to be traceable using technology. We're actually looking at how to do this with the star and the melee goods. Like I said, it's not a simple task, but I believe it's possible.
Fantastic. Well, it's so fascinating, to really see what's inside the rough diamond and how you can maximize it for the best shape and the best cuts that your manufacturer's client asks for.
What you see over here is basically a very small part of the whole diamond manufacturing process. It's actually the first stage of deciding what to do with the rough diamonds. As they flow down the further stages of manufacturing, there are many other different technologies with ours that are used in order to do quality control. And again, that information, as they get scanned on the machine after they're cut, after they then start being polished, goes up to the cloud, and we utilize that information then for the traceability. So what you see here is a part of diamond manufacturing. And if you take what you see here and you multiply it by 1,000, that's what happens in the diamond factories around the world, in India, in Botswana, in South Africa, in Thailand, and so onwards. So this is just a very small example of what the initial diamond manufacturing process looks like.
Fantastic. And what's next?
So what's next? So as I said, traceability has just got started. I don't think we're at the end of that process yet. We're starting to see a very significant demand from the retail side, definitely on the high-end brands who sustainability aspect is critical. It's very, very important for them. But we're seeing that spreading to the mainstream. It's not only the high-end brands, the mainstream also is starting to understand why that is important to them, why it is important for them to understand where the diamond comes from, how it was manufactured, under what conditions, and traceability is the key to enable that. So traceability, I think, is still in its beginnings. We're going to see a lot more different technologies entering the pipeline to help enable technology. One of the things that we're working on is a very high-speed system, automated, that enables to scan thousands or tens of thousands of diamonds very quickly without a person having to do it one by one like we saw on the machine over there. There we saw a diamond being done one by one, but in order to reach scales of millions or tens of millions of diamonds going through that process, we need much faster systems, much more automated. We've already developed the first generation of what we call the AutoScan. This is basically an automatic robotic type of system that scans diamonds very high speed. We're already testing our second generation, and I believe that by the end of the year, we'll start seeing these kind of systems at the mines, at the rough supplies, and scaling up in terms of quantities of diamonds that go into the traceability process.
Fantastic. So everyone will be able to know where their diamonds come from.
Yes, look, I believe that there are a number of different aspects to it. One, we talked about the story. We talked about the importance of conveying to the consumer that diamond journey. So you have, I would say, the story part of traceability. On the other hand, as we know in today's world, there's a lot of different rough sources that are unacceptable, whether it's to certain clients, certain retailers, certain consumers, certain countries. And therefore, the ability to know where your diamond originated from is becoming critical. There's talks about having such a system being maybe mandatory for goods entering maybe Europe and the US, And in order to be able to do so, in order to be able to make sure that the diamonds are not greenwashed and given false decorations, you have to have something that's very robust and very that's verifiable behind it. And therefore, I think the industry is moving from declarations to verifications, which is what we're doing.
That's very interesting. This verification process, I think, is exactly what we discuss all the time.
Yeah. So that will enable not only retailers to know where the diamond comes from with a very high level of confidence, but also maybe governments. In my vision, I could see such technologies complementing of course, the Kimberley process, being able to know where diamonds come from, entering and exiting different countries. So I definitely think technology could make a huge jump in how the Kimberley process is done today.
Can you just explain? I'm sure most of the people who are listening to us know what's the Kimberley process, but just in one line, in case we have people new to the industry joining us today.
So the Kimberley process basically was set up in order to prevent blood diamonds or diamonds from regions that are in conflict entering the pipeline. So in different regions of conflict where diamonds were being used to fund the conflict. The different organizations around the world wanted a system that enabled to exclude those diamonds from the pipeline, and that's how the Kimberley process was invented and set up, and it's been used since then in order to ensure that diamonds that come from conflict regions don't enter the pipeline. On the other hand, it is a very declarative-based system. It's based on declarations by different entities, and we believe that today with technology you can create a much more robust and a much more verifiable system than is possible up until now.
Fantastic. And what does also technology help you to achieve? I think that's something that you've been at the forefront of, and we've already discussed, in Rappaport magazine, on rappaport.com, in our news. So I think that's maybe the next stage of our tour today before we take the questions. Are you going to give us a little glimpse
maybe
of
a little sneak peek. So maybe let's go in this direction, and we'll take a sneak peek into the future of diamond grading using technology.
Thanks, David.
So basically what we've been doing over the last few years is developing technology that will enable automated grading using technology based on artificial intelligence. This was actually the first lab set up in the world that is based entirely on technology in order to grade color, clarity, symmetry, cut grade, fluorescence, basically all the 4 C's using technology. We set this up in the beginning as a research lab, but today we actually are grading goods from clients.
It's a very precious place. If you heard the siren, it's a very high security place. Sorry for that.
You can have a sneak peek into what we do here, and I'm sure in one of our next sessions we'll go into a lot more detail. So basically we use technology to do the grading end to end, very much more repeatable, very much more accurate than manual grading. We're not dependent on people that may be tired, angry, hot, cold, different cultures. It's all based on technology. We've been developing over the last few years, and we're basically now ready to start rolling it out to the world, actually on site at the diamond factories. So actually the diamond lab of tomorrow will be very, very different than what we see the diamond labs today. There'll be no longer central labs, in my opinion, but there'll be multiple labs sitting in factories that grade the goods based on technology. On one hand, remove the need from sending the diamond to a grading lab, shipping, cost of money, insurance, and so on, but without in any way compromising on quality.
More efficient and also giving the power to the actual customer.
Yes, but without compromising in any way on quality and accuracy of the grading itself.
And obviously everything, the diamond identity is traced throughout the journey.
Throughout the journey from the rough and all the way down to the polish. So the ability to track that diamond is based on the tire pipe and based on technology rather than declarations and information that come from different entities who sometimes have a conflict of interest.
And we talked about a little bit about this cloud where all the information is. It's accessible to everyone who's a Sarine client.
So the cloud basically is where we store all the information. It's where the clients access it once they want a grading report, a traceability report. Everything today is digital, naturally, and we believe strongly in digital. We were actually the first grading lab that had digital reports. Many of our clients want only digital, again, connected to sustainability and protecting the environment, not having to print out things. So all our grain reports are digital. We also see the digital methodology of providing a report as being able to provide very much more interactive information. So it's not a very dry, tabular piece of paper. It's something that you can interact with, engage with. You can turn the diamond around, you can see it, you can see the rough diamond in traceability report, you can see how that diamond was planned, just like we saw in the rough lab, and all the way down to the beautiful polished diamond. So it's not just knowing where the diamond came from, it's also that rich information that we can actually present in a great traceability report that can be presented to the end consumer.
That's really, really interesting for us who think when we always think about the end consumer, the ones who really we want to share the diamond dream with. And I think that's a really nice way to do it, between technology, storytelling, and facts as well, and data. And
we see it as a combination. That's why we called it the diamond journey. There's a lot of different names out there, origin, traceability. We call it the diamond journey because we think that encompasses not only information, but also that story together. And we think that's very important to the end consumer.
That's great. So thanks, David. I'm going to check what kind of questions we've received. Tell us, is there a next stage for the Diamond Journey website?
Yes. One of the things that we always strive to is to get feedback, understand where we can do better, what people need. So naturally, I'm reaching out now to all the retailers there that have seen the Diamond Journey website, that are using it, and to those that will use it in the future. We love to get feedback. We want to improve it. In the end, this is for the retailer. It's for the retailer. It's for the consumer. It's an educational tool. It's a sales tool to talk about that story of the diamond as it goes from rough to polish. So definitely a lot of improvements will come from feedback that come from the market, from the retailers and the consumers. And we've got a lot of different plans how to add additional aspects of that diamond journey to it. So that's just stage one. No doubt we'll be adding a lot more content and detail as we go forward.
I have a question actually, that's a very interesting one. Can someone ask if a diamond can enter the journey not from the rough, but a bit later?
Can the diamond what?
Can be traced and referenced after, if it's not a rough, if you haven't seen it in this rough stage.
So unfortunately not. That's what you call grandfathering. So we cannot grandfather diamonds using technology because once it's been polished, it's been polished. So we have to start basically with diamonds that are rough and then start tracking them. So all the polished diamonds that are in existence today, it's basically impossible to understand their origin and their diamond journey. But we've got to start somewhere, so we're starting today.
Absolutely.
Or actually a few years ago. But, but no, you cannot reverse engineer the process, and therefore you cannot grandfather using technology rough diamonds in terms of traceability.
And what's the proportion of diamonds you would say in circulation today that actually have been already identified and are part of the cloud?
So again, we can talk about a number of different things. If we talk about the number of diamonds that go through technology, Sarine's technology, what we saw in the rough lab and the polish lab, there are about 100 million diamonds every single year going through our technology. That doesn't mean that today all of them are going through traceability, but that means that's the potential, that 100 million diamonds can be tracked because they're going through the technologies today. As the demand from the retail increases, more and more diamonds will go through the pipeline in terms of traceability. But as I said, they're going through the technology today, and therefore the infrastructure is there, the process is already in place. And that was the whole idea behind using our infrastructure in the manufacturing to create traceability, so as not to add time, cost, and overhead on the pipeline, using existing infrastructure, using existing processes, but just utilizing the data in a different way. And that's the beauty about our system, that it's easy to scale and with very little overhead. So I believe we'll start seeing much more significant quantities. If I look at beginning of last year as compared to today, there are 10 times more diamonds going through the traceability than there were the same time last year. And I believe that number will continue to grow exponentially.
And that's fascinating. And do you think the situation in Russia has been impacting it, has been faster making
it's
the
fast
process
forwarded,
much,
no doubt. No doubt the situation in Ukraine and Russia has fast forwarded. The need was always there. It was there before this crisis, but definitely the crisis has fast forwarded. The discussions on making some level of mandatory the sanctions on Russian diamonds have no doubt fast forward the situation. And I think in the end that we'll be seeing much wider usage of traceability very much earlier than without it.
Great. And I think we want to finish on a more positive note than the Russian sanctions.
Yeah.
What is the most, have you seen like a diamond going through in a rough process, in your long career in the diamond industry, have you seen like a really exceptional rough that, you know, when you saw it, you thought like, even without putting it in a Sarine machine, you thought that's going to be something exceptional?
Yes, so I've seen so many. I mean, we see, out of 100 million diamonds, there are so many exceptional diamonds. That could be in terms of size, that could be in terms of a unique shape, which we've seen many unique shapes. But I think what's most interesting, and we actually see a lot of these kind of diamonds from time to time, is different patterns of inclusions. And we actually are now a YouTube site. We actually from time to time publish rough diamonds that have a special shape. So for example, a while back, last year or a year or so back, we published a diamond that had a dragon inside, like Game of Thrones, or a diamond within a diamond. So all sorts of very special, unique inclusions that create different kinds of images are always very, very interesting. We of course ask the permission of the diamond rough owners to publish them. They're always more than happy as long as they get some credit for the diamond. But I think those are the most interesting. But we see so many different types, qualities, sizes. I said 100 million diamonds is a lot of different diamonds.
Absolutely. I could see like you were completely lightened up when you speak about the magic, the still magic of this diamond, of this rough diamond, which one is really unique. And I think that's what you're trying to say in the diamond journey, that every single diamond has a very unique feature, characteristic, story. And
exactly. And I think that's a story that hasn't been told to the consumer. Because when you look at polished diamonds, they look very much similar, right? 1 carat GVS1 excellent cut, 2 diamonds of the same quality look very similar, but they come from very, very unique rough diamonds. One of the very interesting things we've done is we actually, for some of our retail clients, we do a 3D printout, 3D replica of the rough diamond, and the retailer actually provides the consumer with a replica of the rough diamond along with his polished diamond. So he has actually a very unique rough diamond, and then his polished diamond that goes along with it. So that actually shows him and tells him the story physically of how his rough diamond looked like.
That is very nice. I saw it before, and I think that's a great additional to the gift of a diamond. You know, to actually see it
helps
from
tell the story.
You know, that's how it was cut. That's how it was lost. You know, a lot of people don't realize that you need to lose rough to be able to get the most precious stone out of it.
A lot of retailers think rough diamond. I mean, the story of don't understand the story of the polished diamond, and that's what we're trying to help them and help them educate their customers and consumers. The story of that, the lot of hard work, the difficulty, the craftsmanship that goes in to turning that rough diamond into a polished diamond.
So thank you so much, David, for this amazing tour of the Sarine Lab and explaining to us about the diamond journey and actually being able to see the stone. Is that, if you want to, is there anything else you like to share with our audience today?
Go into the website, see the diamond's journey. I'm sure a lot of you will learn a lot from it, a lot of things that most people don't know about it, and would love to get your feedback on it as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David. Thanks to everyone at Sarine today that helped us make this IG Live. Thanks to our producer, Vanina Pickles. Thanks to Anna, who's been on call as well from our team at Rappaport. And we'll carry on these conversations and we'll give more information. And also something, I know we're on Instagram, but I really want to recommend the TikTok channel of Sarine because it's really an amazing, amazing place to learn about diamonds and everything else. So I'm not going to take people from Instagram to TikTok. Maybe I'm not allowed and it's going to be censored now, but it's really a fantastic educational resource like the Diamond Journey. It all complements the mission of bringing more traceability into our industry. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonia. Bye-bye.